Hey, what's up, everyone? Welcome to the Ninja Warrior podcast. Guys, it's 9 o'clock at night, but we're still recording the ANW finale.
Why are you acting? 9 o'clock is not the latest time that you could possibly stay up.
Okay, fair enough, but honestly, we usually record in the early mornings, so the fact that we're recording at 9 p.m. is kind of funny to me. Well, this is how our schedule is lined up, and when you have school climbing up your ass, this is what you have to do. So today we are probably having the hottest topic covering here. We are fashionably late on this as per usual. But today we will be covering the ANW 16 finale, talking about the second half of episode 10 and the entirety of episode 11, covering stages 3 and 4, and the final appearance of Mount Midoriyama on American soil. Honestly, this wasn't half bad. I actually would argue this is a good set of episodes and a good finale.
Oh yeah, we saw so many good ones. Like last year's stage 3 was such a slog fest. Here we actually had some big runs here. It was actually a really good night. I think the unfortunate part is I think a little bit of it is because it was the last chance for us to see anyone get a stage 3 buzzer entirely. But, it's okay. It's fine. It really doesn't matter. They did a good job with both the editing and just the fact that these were some pretty decent results, all things considered.
Yeah, so let's just start off with the course now. Now, unlike usual in Season 16, there actually is a brand new obstacle. Let's go. Replacing Pipe Dream, we got Pizza Party. What's your guys' opinion on this one? Because, honestly, I think I like it. Yeah, to be quite frank with you, this obstacle is a very dynamic one. You gotta hop off the pizza and rotate it and grab the sides. I think it's actually a really cool move for stage 3. And, it's a really, the kind of move that you don't usually practice,
Yeah, it actually, kind of reminds me of, the road signs, which is later on in this course. Two obstacles that both are very unique to Stage 3, and both very unique in general, just for the way you have to do them. I just think that's so cool that we have an obstacle like that now.
Yeah, I mean, it is a little annoying how it has to look like pizzas. It says, but you know what, it's ANW, and it really doesn't matter all that much.
Yeah, I think honestly it didn't really matter all that much. Matt and Alpo really weren't going crazy about it, thankfully. I think the most interesting thing they said during this was, during Vance Walker's one, they said something, Matt was just saying, I wish I could stop after the second slice, which is pretty accurate, I would think.
Yeah, Matt Eisman, despite doing several pull-ups during the qualifiers, really has been dissing himself lately, just because he's not as thin as you'd expect.
Yeah, he definitely has gained weight since Season 2 of American Ninja Warrior.
That was 15 years ago, Crystal.
I know, but I'm just saying.
Okay, but anyway, so yeah, that was the only new obstacle here. Otherwise, the course stayed the same from last year, with it including Patriot Pass, the stalactites, which did do some good damage as early in the course. We had Slam Dunk, the nerfed Ultimate Cliffhanger, Pizza Party, as we just said, the return of the Pressure Cooker, which also gave some ninjas some trouble this time around, thankfully, and finally the returning road signs. So, yeah, quite frankly, even if this course looks almost the same than last year, I honestly do think it feels like an improvement, and I'm trying to really get why, because the course didn't change. It's just one new obstacle, but yet it felt so much more intense to watch.
I think it's more of just, the pressure of the fact that this is the last stage that you will ever see on American soil. It felt like this stage 3 meant something because of that. It felt like every run, whoever was running had something to prove. Whether they had finished stage 3 before or not. It was the last shot to possibly get to the rope climb. And, that's probably what I would think made this stage 3 so special and what made this finale so special is because it was the last one. And the fact that the show doesn't act like it is kind of annoys me, but you know what? Who cares? It's fine. I feel like everyone who's watching these episodes knows that this is the Las Vegas, which honestly just adds to the stakes. Like last year, it felt like there weren't any stakes, and now there's plenty of stakes for the fact that this is your last shot. Like, I really like that idea personally.
Yeah, definitely. Even if it's like more of a hindsight thing in retrospect, it still really added something to these two episodes, even if it was unintentional. Even if it was unintentional. Yeah, but let's go into it. Starting with the first one for episode 10, that being Cal Pujols, who I am so glad to be seeing on stage 3. This just feels like such a payoff to his time, not only in Ninja Junior, but also on the Big Show too.
Yeah, I mean, Ninja Cow, he's always been someone I've been cheering for and someone who's been on a meteoric rise ever since he started competing back in ANW 13, and then even on ANW Junior, he was shown to be pretty strong. Like, I knew he had big things with him, and I'm so glad that at the last possible second, he was able to get the stage story, and even if he didn't get all that far, it's just an amazing accomplishment.
Yeah, definitely. Cal did end up going out the earliest out of all these ninjas, just going out on Slam Dunk and being the obstacles only victim. Honestly, fine enough, for the first one of the night. I don't think I was expecting anything more, but, just a really good end to his season. And, yes, he'll probably be on the, Ninja vs. Ninja version, the, next season. He's just a really good end to his meteoric rise that started in ANW 13, of just doing better and better each season.
Yeah, definitely, for sure. I think it's really cool to see someone's rise like that, even if Cal was someone who honestly wish got more spotlight. You know what? I'm just glad he got something and he got fully shown. It was cool.
Yeah, and on that tangent too of being fully shown, everyone got fully shown. No fast forwards, which I think is a first for Stage 3 in quite a while.
Yeah, I think that was the first in ANW 13 because the last two seasons have had a lot of ninjas, but this season they were actually able to cut it together where they fully showed everyone's runs, which honestly impressed me as well.
Yeah, for sure. It's not only typical of AEW to do that, especially considering what they usually like to do. So it was very nice to see here. After that, we had Elijah Browning, who honestly had the type of one you kind of expect from him. Like, nothing really to report on. He ended up being Pizza Party's first victim, which, yeah, Pizza Party took out a lot of ninjas and caused a lot of trouble, which I can definitely appreciate.
Yeah, definitely. Like, I know this isn't really about Elijah. He didn't really have a special one. He didn't even get a segment or anything. But, it's the second one on stage 3. Like, you can't expect anything more than that.
In some cases, yeah, you kind of like you kind of have to pace it well, especially when we have such little time. Like, coming into stage 3 in episode 10, there are 24 minutes left in the episode. That's not much time to show everything. So, you gotta make it snappy, and honestly, I think this is probably the best way they could have paced it.
Yeah, definitely, for sure. Anyway, after that, we had Daniel Gill, and wow, this was hard to watch.
Yeah, there's a lot of ones like that this episode. 2 in particular that we're going to be covering. Gill's definitely one of them because he was definitely someone all three of us were expecting to move on and clear. And while yes, he came very, very close, he had probably the wackiest one we saw get to the end. At least,
Yeah, definitely, for sure. Gil had a decent run, but it kind of did feel like he was, using too much time on a lot of obstacles like stalactites and, the pressure cooker, and even had some difficulties on Pizza Party as well. So, it kind of felt like it was gonna happen. And that was something I was more noticing on the rewatch than on the original, but, then it happened.
Yeah, despite Indigo clearing it last year, and this course not being too much different, he ended up going out on the road signs, not being able to hold out just the very end there. That surprises me. Gil still technically won and achieved a form of condensate, but
Yeah, it's such a sour taste, because he achieved it, but, he had a stage 2 buzzer that year. And he got here legitimately and then got knocked out. It's so weird.
Yeah, if I ever do a every season's buzzer for Gil, which is pretty possible, I think, because I feel like I will be making a lot of montages with the ending of this season because as I'll go into much later, I have some plans when it comes down to montages with it for the foreseeable future. But it's gonna be so weird if I do make one of Gil, which again I think I should. Um, seeing him hit a stage 1 buzzer and then the next buzzer is stage 3, like, it's gonna feel like we're skipping a buzzer, and then, his stage 2 buzzer one, like, that's gonna be the end. Like, I can't really, like, fathom that.
Yeah, it's like so weird.
Yeah, and honestly, I kind of wish they ended the episode with that, because Kai Beckstrand's run, which was shown next, wasn't special at all, and he was the one who got the clear stage 3. Yeah, this was kind of expected to be completely honest, but Kai is also someone I thought might just fall early, so it was actually a weak. So, in the context of the competitor, yeah, I don't think I was setting him to fully clear, but in the context of the episode and him being the final runner and timing wise, I think it kind of had to be the case. That way we can get a buzzer win at the end, but the interesting thing too, it kind of just led to me completely forgetting he had even finished the course in the first place.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's how unnotable his one really was here. I mean, fair argument. Like, I couldn't really recall much that happened here. Like, Kai just had a standard run through stage 3. He really didn't look like he had any trouble at all. Like, and he hit the buzzer, like, that really didn't feel like much.
Yeah, not really. But yeah, that is episode 10's stage 3. Well, yes, I think it felt clamped. I think it was actually pretty interesting.
Yeah, not gonna lie, it might have been clamped, but what we saw here was actually pretty decent. Even if I think Gil's one is definitely carrying that all on its shoulders alone.
Yeah, definitely. Moving on to episode 11, the finale. That started off with a one from Josiah Papel, and it was the first one of the episode. I don't think you were expecting much once again.
Yeah, there wasn't really much to go on about with Josiah's one, unfortunately. He did have a segment about his cars, and I do want to point out the car that he ended up eyeing, which was all beat up and stuff, and I get that it was a learning experience and everything, and probably something he really wanted to do just because he was intrigued by the challenge. But I'm just like, how the fuck do you fix that?
Yeah, as someone who knows jack shit about cars in terms of how they work, inner working, aside from, the usual maintenance you have to do, like changing brakes and changing oil, like, I didn't even think about how you go about fixing that. Like, I'm gonna show a screenshot so you guys can see what I'm talking about. Like, how do you, what?
Yeah, like, that looks pretty beat up. I kind of wonder, like, did he even have to pay for that?
I wouldn't want to pay for that hunk of junk. Like, the fact that you probably have to spend a lot of money just to fix it.
Yeah, I mean, I'm pretty sure I wouldn't be surprised if he like fixed it himself without paying a mechanic to do it. Or I don't think a mechanic would actually try to fix it themselves. Actually, they would just say, just get a fucking new car at that point.
Yeah, I mean, technically speaking, I would think.
Yeah, but as we mentioned, Papel didn't really have much of a special one. He did have difficulties on the slag test, spending like 30 seconds just hanging there on it, which definitely sapped him his grip strength, which would explain why he was knocked out by Pizza Party.
Yeah. Even though he was first, I was kind of still expecting him to clear. Like, admittedly enough.
I mean, it would not have been like something out of the nature for ANW, so yeah, I think you got a point. Plus, he had done it before, so like it kind of made some sense for him to clear. So the fact that he didn't is kind of surprising, and admittedly enough, even if him being first makes it make more sense.
Yeah, and then after that, we had fucking Kyle Soderman, man. Like, this was so bad. Like, this was so bad on so many levels.
Yeah, so Soderman, he had a segment about the ultimate cliffhanger, how he's fallen there twice. And the hilarious thing is like this thing he's saying that I've been training a lot of rock climbing and the third time's a jump and everything, and I'm just like, dude, it was 3 days 3 days earlier you fell here. I don't think much is gonna change, and nothing changed. You literally fell at the exact same point as the last 2 seasons, like literally to the ledge, like.
Yeah, not much else to report. Kyle Sullivan just became a complete joke of a one, and even was the Cliffhanger's only victim this season. Just wow. I don't even know if I have words for that.
Yeah, I think it just makes it more humorous than anything else. But yeah, after that we had probably a one that we were waiting on, Sean Bryan. Oh yeah, I'm so excited to see this one because Bryan's always someone I've been wanting to see to get back to stage 3 ever since his run in ANW 10, and the fact that he got back here was so good to see. And his one might have been a little disappointing, but he at least got through the ultimate cliffhanger, and that always meant something.
Yeah, that's been haunting him for 6 long years after 2 straight fails on it. Even if this was a much easier version, Brian's Iron got through it, even if it was a little bit sloppy. He was able to do it, and unfortunately, he was knocked out by Pizza Party. He was knocked out by Pizza Party in probably the dumbest way possible.
Yeah, he was able to make the Mount Monster for his pizza, but then his momentum pulled him off skewed him off, and he was not able to recover from there. Literally like a full-on rotation before he was ready for it. So yeah, that was really unfortunate. Well, I guess I have no idea how much Brian really had left in him after that, and I feel like he probably would have failed on the second pizza, or like on road signs or something, because it only just how sloppy the cliffhanger was for him, and like he really didn't look like he had it in him to finish the whole thing at that point. It still would have been so cool to see.
Oh fuck yeah! Like, it also was. He was also talking about in this segment how like he's like the total dark horse of all the ninjas in Mania this year, and like that is very much true. Brian is the oldest ninja to ever take on stage 3, and he gave him one hell of a fight. You know, he showed up like a veteran.
Yeah, definitely so. Even if it was a little bit more of a disappointment, it's so cool to see Sean Bryan on stage 3, and you know he quit the cliffhanger. Like that is worth something. After all this time, he was able to vanquish his nemesis. Right before Midoriyama went under. Like that is a really good accomplishment for him. I'd be very happy.
Yeah, definitely. And then after that, we had fucking Caleb Bergstrom, and what the fuck am I supposed to say about this one?
Yeah, so Caleb, he had like the 5th segment this season about having a baby. Who cares? But he ended up finishing stage 3 once again. There really isn't much to say about this one. I mean, even with what happens later with Caleb, which I think because we're covering that later this episode, we'll definitely lay out our opinions about Caleb and the fact that what happened, but just here, talk about his stage 3 one, there really wasn't much to note about it. He kind of just went through, he made it look easy, honestly, and he cleared the course. Do you have anything to add, John? No, I don't. I didn't think you'd just tell me, add something or else.
Yeah, I mean, you don't talk much, so.
I talk. I talk about as much as you two do. Yeah, sure, go. Sure.
I'm just joking. You're part of this group just as much as the both of us. We just don't smash talk at each other, that's all.
That's just what this is at this point, isn't it?
Yep, basically. You've been doing it for so long, it's just smack talk.
Yeah, so after Caleb, we had Sam Folson, which is a really cool one to see. Personal favorite of mine. Not because it was really remarkable or anything, but just because Sam Folson's been working so hard throughout his career. He was always someone I thought had the potential to get here on stage, and now that he was just able to let loose, and he did pretty well getting all the way through to the pizza party.
Yeah, unfortunately he slipped off on the second jump, on the second rotation, but honestly, what a season for him, man. Like, I can't wait to see him in the future. Like, I know we don't have more Vegas stuff, we have, annoying racing, but I think he's poised to do really well in that as well.
Yeah, so I think we'll see what happens on that. I think Sam has a really good career coming up, though, definitely.
For sure. After that, and we had Austin Gray. Oh, God.
Yeah, so we had a segment about Austin and the fact that he is leaving Ninja Warrior after this season, which feels kind of retroactive. I feel like this is more because of the whole no amount with Doyama kind of thing. Because they don't actually give away a reason for him leaving.
Yeah, no, they just say, like, it's his final season. And I'm just like, yeah, but, like, it doesn't feel like the crowd knew that going in, you know? Like, they don't give him any kind of send-off like they would Najee or anything. I know Austin's not as popular as Najee is, but, like, they really didn't do much to really give him any kind of send-off at all. So it kind of just feels hollow in a way, you know? This is like not like UW12 where it's like a one-time thing because of the Bender, but this is a permanent thing that will probably most definitely last till the end of the show, which honestly may even just be season 17. I don't think I'd be personally surprised season 17 ends up being the show's last season. Because, like, what more could they do? Like, from here, like, they're going to have a very downscaled competition. And no matter how good the season is, I can't really see many people getting invested in it anymore because it's a different competition. Like, it's literally like it can't build off of what the previous seasons have given or anything. Like, I know it's trying because it's bringing back older obstacles and everything, but, like, it's not going to. Like, it's not. Like, a lot of people will probably be leaving Ninja, including us, obviously. And it's just like, it's not the same. Like, I think that is probably the reason why Austin left, and they are retroactively adding it into the show, because the crowd just doesn't feel like, like, send-offy, I guess. I don't think that's the word I'm looking for, but still, you get what I'm saying.
Yeah, this doesn't feel climactic.
No, it doesn't at all. Najee's, despite how stupid of a fail his was on the fucking gambler, like, it felt like a real send-off and a climax to his career, even if it was kind of lame. And plus, in the city finals, they also gave him a send-off, too, because they thought he was eliminated. Yeah, honestly, it just doesn't feel like that's the case.
Yeah, for sure. After that, we had NASA Gilmore, and, well, I guess the best thing I guess the most I can say about this one is that it was smooth.
Yeah, admittedly enough, NASA did have, like, probably the smoothest one we've seen on stage 3 ever, really. Like, he had almost no trouble throughout this course at all. I will say this, though, as well, before we keep on going. I think his segment was really nice, too.
Oh, yeah, I wanted to mention that, but then it just completely escaped my mind going into this. Yeah, NASA did have a really nicely edited segment for this, so it really actually helped boosted him. And honestly, this run, like we just said, it was quite smooth. We're using the word smooth just because of the way he moved throughout the course. He really felt like he flowed through the motions and knew what he was doing. And yeah, I think honestly, it was really cool to see. Yeah, a couple things to know. One thing was that after the pizza party and on to pressure cooker, he was questioning if he could rest on that bar. And if I had to guess, the reason why he was confused on it, despite doing that in the previous season, barely 3 days ago at time of filming, it's probably because on Pipe Dream you can just step onto the bar, while here you had to swing onto it, and it was kind of unclear if like you can climb up and rest. It makes sense.
A little bit, yeah. I mean, NASA, he was not the first to quit a pizza party, even in filming. That was most likely something that was not the case. He was way faster than a lot of other ninjas, and people like Kai Becksham would have went before him. So, and people like Noah Munia would have went before him. So, generally speaking, he should have known, but also maybe it just escaped his mind in the moment.
Yeah, I think it's actually kind of interesting to be asking that question on stage 3. Like,
yeah, no, stage 3's not a place for resting. You're not allowed. Get out of here. Either do it or one of you out.
Yeah, I mean, we've been saying it that we really shouldn't have West bars like this. And honestly, after the pizza party, like, it's not really a grip intensive obstacle. Like, I personally do have the belief that even that without the West bar between those two obstacles, it really would change a couple of things. Just make them have to hang for a little bit longer, and not give them like a chalk point and stuff. Like I think I also recognize something too with that tangent. Stage 3 has a lot of shock moments.
Oh, yeah, it so does. Like, it definitely does. Like, the first one's on the cliffhanger. The second one is, I think the second one is on Pressure Cooker, and then the final one is at Road Signs. Like, I feel like they should chalk that as at least two, with there's one at the cliffhanger, then one at the road signs. In previous stage threes, you could technically chalk up doing, in Sasuke, you could chalk up right before the cliffhanger, and then right before the, bog rider, and then even in later seasons, they actually let you carry a chalk bag with you in the case of Yusuke Monomoto. In ANW, I think the only time we've always seen like chalk is like on the final obstacle, right?
Yeah, they do, in recent seasons, they've given you a chalk ball right before the flying ball. But not before that, really. The cliffhanger was something they gave you a chalk ball on, I think, starting in, season 11. I believe that was the first season that you have a chalk ball, but I don't know for sure. I might need to be corrected on that. It's not always something I've always studied on these courses. But it wasn't really a common thing, like from seasons past, obviously, you didn't have a chalk break between, the cliffhanger and, like, it might have made the cliffhanger more easier to clear, I really don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't really say a chalk break is something that you can call a big stage 3 2, nerfing stage 3 or anything, like, it's chalk break. Like, for some people, that may not even impact their performance all that much.
Not really. I mean, I do think chalk impacts my performance in climbing a little bit. But, like, if I'm being perfectly honest, I never really understood what it did for your body. Did for your hands. Like, it does help, but, like, my brain never really was told what way it did. I was just told, stuck me on a climb, chalk up. Like, you never really thought to question it? Not really. If I had to guess, it, like, gives an extra layer for your hands to latch onto. Ooh, and it also acts as more of a protective layer as well, but I'm honestly not exactly sure what it fully does, and as a seasoned climber, you'd think I would know that.
Yeah, I think. It's all I do. Like, no, you're, like, bro, we're not perfect.
No, we're not. Anyway, so, Nasagamo. So he cleared stage 3 if we hadn't already said it. And after him, we had a mid one for Jackson Twait.
Yeah, Twait started off with a kind of a wacky start on, the Solag types, where he was hung up for a bit, but ended up clearing the dismount. One thing that genuinely shocked me about his one was the fact that he actually cleared the cliffhanger. Like, he was not someone I thought really had the strength to do that, but he did. He did it.
Yeah, and he was knocked out by Pizza Party. Still, like, pretty impressive for Twait of all people. Like, Twait's not someone I've always saw as a contender to win at all, or even get the stage 3 in general. Like, honestly, his rise to fame from seasons 14 to 16, honestly, a really remarkable career resurgence for someone like him, because he, obviously was one of the more goofy ninjas and never really was someone who was treated seriously. Is he to really go that far? The fact that he had 3 straight seasons when he broke through stage 1, and then he got better and better, that is honestly impressive for someone like him personally. At least to me.
Yeah, it is. Except on track purposes, it is. After him, we had Noah Munier, and honestly, this one was flawless. What the fuck am I supposed to say?
Yeah, Noah just kind of glided his way to stage 3, similar to NASA. Honestly, there wasn't really much to his one. He just flew through, no problems whatsoever. I think the most interesting about him was his segment, because in addition to it being more about Addy than him, they were also compiling all the buzzers from, like, different ninja couples. And the funniest thing is that almost all of these couples were all but, like, 2 or 3 of the buzzers of the combined total. Yeah, to be specific here, we saw Casey Gonzalo and Gwen Stephenson with her 18, where Casey only hit 2 and her one time ever doing anything worth a jack. That's worth a damn. With Gwen obviously getting the other 16. We saw James McGrath and Alyssa Beard, where James accounts for all but 3 of those buzzers, and then we have the 2 Noah and Addy, where Noah accounts for 9 of their 10 combined buzzers. Like, like the way they're saying it makes it seem like the two hit way more than they did. The only more group they showed it when it was actually kind of even was Flex, because she hit 10, and because the combined total was 20, I assume Chris hit 10. But of course, I'm not someone who studies the career of Chris DeGanchi, so I really don't know. The way you said that made him sound like so worthless of a competitor. Okay, I wasn't trying to phrase it like that, but I guess I did.
You so did, dude.
Alright, but you get my point. Like, showing those couples is so pointless when the let's just say the male of the couple did most of the work. You know?
Yeah, again, only one of those 4 couples actually are an example of combined buzzers and stuff, like actually working together, and yeah. And that's only really because Chris and Jesse are like kind of equal in skill level as well, because they've almost always done the same. The only time Chris did significantly better than Jesse was during, I think it was season 11, where he made it to stage 3 and LeBlanc unfortunately fell on the cargo net. Like, yeah.
Yeah, but anyway, Noah, as we said before, cleared the course. Not really much to note, but good for him, honestly.
Yeah, it's just good for him. I think honestly, there wasn't much to say about Noah's individual stage 3-1. We'll probably say some things about him later when we talk about his stage 4-1, but that's that.
Yeah, and after that we got Walius Jomowaski. I think it'd be better if we talk about Vance's one first.
Really? Are we doing Vance's one first?
I mean, I feel like we're going to be on Milwaukee's one for quite a bit here, because it is going to be most likely the last time we talk about Milwaukee on the podcast in the context of ANW, because it's kind of up in the air we'll talk about season 17 at all, really.
I guess. Alright, fine. Vance's one. There isn't really much to say on this, so I guess I get your point.
Yeah, like, the reason why I'm saying that is because I feel like Vance's run was just a one finishing stage 3. Like, again, just like Noah and NASA, this was going to happen. It was inevitable, and the one had almost, like, nothing special about it. Like, he cleared stage 3. Unfortunately, there wasn't really much glory in this. I mean, it's cool to see him do it again, but, like, it's so weird.
Yeah. I mean, you talk about stage 3 finishes, but, like, the fact that within the last 2 years, like, in fact, even the last 3 years, like, I'd say, like, the only really stage 3 finishes that gave me any kind of emotion that I can recall, and this is based on memory, so I might be missing some people that you might think maybe for those who are emotional, and I'm like, okay. So, here's what else this. Jay Lewis was a big one for me. He was just someone I wasn't expecting to clear stage 3, and there's the fact that he did, like, that hit me. Like, that hit me. And at that point, stage 3 didn't have much of a track record of finishes, so Jay Lewis hitting a record, that hit me. Seeing Josh Levin and RJ Wellman do it, though, RJ I don't think was really all that, was kind of more annoying than anything else because of the way he did it. Yeah, those were cool too, I think. But I don't think we really had the emotional impact that Jay is one on me. For season 15, honestly, I got nothing on most of those ones. I think Vance's was a little bit emotional because he had always tried it before, and I did it before and was built up throughout the season, but like everyone else had such a slog festival one who ended up clearing. And, like, it really didn't feel like they deserved it, for the most part. Even someone like Gil, like, he failed at stage 2. Like, it sappens the blow a bit. You know, sappens the impact. And, I'll be honest here, I don't think I really felt emotion for any one of these finishes.
Yeah, because, like, everyone but Kai had done it before. Had done it in the previous season. And Kai was someone, like, I guess it was a little bit unexpected to see him finish because he's a bigger guy and everything, but, like, we kind of knew he had the skill to do it. Like, it kind of, had to happen in that way. So, I think the lesson impact kind of does just make sense from, like, a viewing perspective, and from the perspective of people who've watched the show for so long, like, it's just kind of weird to think about. Yeah, it's, kind of weird. I think, honestly, what would have brought out the emotion to me is seeing Joe Milwaukee finish stage 3.
This one, man. Like, what do I say? Like, this is, like, the one that was, this was so hard to watch. Not only the first time, but also the second time for the podcast. This was so hard to watch again.
Yeah, I will probably go out and say this right now. This is the most tragic moment in the show's history. It has to be. Because, like, the heartbreak that Joe has in this, like, everything is riding on this. Joe has been in the stage 3 6 times, and he's probably the most consistent ninja in history. Like, statistically speaking, even if he's been a little sloppy in recent years, he's still the only ninja to get 4 buzzers 4 times. He's the ninja with the most consistent track record across all his seasons. Because even if he fucks up pretty stupidly sometimes, he's gotten more buzzers than any other ninja for a reason, because he's that consistent. Like, even if like the count's a little weird, like Mulaski still holds that title no matter what.
Yeah, and it's like the fact that this one, like, first off, like, he hit his head on stalactites, and that way it already sets it forward, but like, just like season 11 with that whip in his skin, he powered through it, and honestly, like, with everything going, I would have loved to see Mulaski clear. Like, seriously, like, he deserved it at this point. Like, I think he deserved it in season 11, but even more here, because, like, it's another case where he had 4 buzzers coming into this season. Like, it would have been so cool if, like, the guy who's, you know, gotten 4 buzzers 3 times and just couldn't get that one on stage 3, he gets it, and, like, it's a full, like, 6 buzzer. Like, that, it'd be so cool. And just seeing him power through this course, like, it was such a gutsy performance.
Yeah, and at the end there, he was really struggling on road signs, and he was really, like, building it up for himself. I think maybe he was just trying to stay in the moment to try not to screw it up, and honestly, like, all props go to him. Like, he really did put his all into it. Like, yeah, admittedly enough, I kind of wish he actually, like, didn't stop on road signs at that last move. It felt like he kind of dragged it out, and that's why he failed. But, like, any way you put it, like, the fact that he fell on the very last jump, and it's someone like Joe Mulaski, who, you know, he's wanted to climb stage 4 for so long. And he's been doing it for so long. He is the most seasoned veteran on stage 3, period, and obviously of this season. I'm pretty sure he is one of only 2 ninjas. Him and Daniel Gill. He's one of only a couple of ninjas. I think it was him, Gill, RJ, Austin, and Sean Bryan, who had been to stage 3 more than just once. More than just once at most. Actually, no, RJ wasn't here this season, what am I saying?
Yeah, he was here last season.
Yeah, but that's just the point. Like, he was just one of only a couple of ninjas who went here for their first or second time. And, like, it just would have felt like such a glorious into his career. Yeah, and I think also, too, this being the way he goes out, like, it feels like just, like, a huge parallel to Tasahiro Takada from Sasuke. And if you guys don't know who he is, bit of background here. Tasahiro Takada made it to stage 3 13 times in Sasuke and still holds a record for the most stage 3 appearances of anyone. I believe 7 of those ones were consecutive, but don't quote me on that. But you know, he's the only ninja to go to do it that many times, and he made it to the end of stage 3. I think it was twice, and then like he had also had an emotional one in his final attempt on stage 3. And he was also at a point to where both him and Joe were, like, aging up. It was really unsure of, like, how much longer they could really do this. And even if, like, Takada kept on competing afterwards, like, that was really his last shot. Like, he kept on aging, getting older, and the clears become less and less common and then, like, in Sasuke 38, I think it was 30, which was it?
I think it was 39, but don't quote me on it.
Okay, we'll say 39. He cleared stage 1 for the first time in a while, but, like, you know, but, like, as of recently, he actually came down with a disease that stopped him from doing ninja for the rest of his life. I think it was high blood pressure. Don't quote me on that one either. But, like, it's such a similar career where he had been there so many times. They had both known the course better than anyone else in the field and had been there so many times. It would have just felt such such a glorious moment to see either one of them finish, but especially Milwaukee because he made it to the very last move. Like you can't get any closer than that. Like, it really gave me flashbacks to like people like what's it like Ian Dory and Brian Arnold, but like more so here because again, Milwaukee had been there so many times, and it hits all the more.
Especially because of the fact that, like, you know, I feel like Joe, like, this was most likely his last shot, even if Vegas wasn't in the situation that it is, and even if this wasn't Matt Wadoyama's last season, I do feel like this was probably Joe's last shot because, like, he's getting older. He has several kids. Like, he obviously doesn't have time to train as much, and honestly, he's probably someone who's like such an older seasoned vet. Like, he can't compete with the teenagers, especially on a racing course. Like, legitimately speaking, this was probably his last shot to try to prove himself and get the stage 4. And the fact that he came that close, it hurts.
Yeah. Honestly, yeah. I think another thing to note too is that when he fell, you could see the camera on Stephanie, his wife, obviously, becoming even more emotional than him. Like, Demonski obviously disappointed, but like he still had a smile on his face even afterwards. Like, oh, bummer, that stings. But Steph, she is straight up just super upset. And, like, literally, like, she collapsed on the floor and rolled around and was, like, so, like, little anger I could feel from, like, her little, like, I don't know, it's, like, screams? Like, I don't know how to describe it I don't know how to describe it.
Yeah, but, like, you could feel the emotion coming from her in that moment. Like, it did feel like she had more emotion than Joe in that moment. And the fact that she was there watching him for the first time in a while. Like, this was the first time Steph had watched him in Vegas live since season 11. So, like, it all hit home. Like, everything about Joe's run, it hit home in, like, the worst way possible. Like, I think, honestly, the first time I saw this, it has been so vivid in my mind. I've been honestly anticipating covering this on the podcast with you guys because, like, this is probably by far the most memorable moment this season.
Yeah, I've been honestly testing it for a while, thinking about what categories I could do for the state of enjoy because I do want to do one new one at least. Obviously, because there wasn't really any new obstacles, but, like, I think one new category would be really cool. Like, something like most tragic moment or, like, most remembered moment or something like that. Something that, like, speaks to the legacy of Las Vegas because this is the legacy of Mount Wadoyama because it is his last season. Something like that. I don't know for sure. We'll definitely announce it when we actually nominate the stuff, which will be a little bit from now. We'll get to that at the end. But definitely makes me really want to do something because I just want to, you know, talk about that one because, yeah.
It's something. I don't know. We'll see what we do. Obviously, we discussed the Save Fund Ninja Awards after the fact. So, we'll give you guys an update on that when it comes, when the nominees come. But, yeah. I think we can let's just move on here, honestly. We've been on this for a little long.
I told you, I knew we'd be here for a while talking about Joe Milwaukee's one.
Yeah, I guess so. John, you weren't wrong, John. Vance was the last one aired, but you know what? I do think Joe should have been aired last. Like, that one, that is probably going to be one of the most vivid ones in my time watching Ninja. Like, yeah, definitely for sure.
Yeah, it just feels like such a climax, such finality in that. Like, I don't think the show has ever produced something that emotional in a long time. Has ever produced something that emotional in a long time. So, I think we're good to move on. I think we've explained our feelings towards it in a way of different ways.
Yeah, but let's talk about it. Stage 4. As per usual, it's just a whoop climb to the top. Nothing changed from the last season, which would have been nice, but because of the circumstance, it wasn't gonna happen.
Yeah, all of a sudden they just add a spider climb to it. Like,
I mean, if I'm being perfectly honest, I really wish that I-beam they had in the back for the women's championship was used on this stage 4. Like, you climb with an I-beam for like half the thing, and you have to leap from the I-beam onto a rope. Like, I would personally love to see that.
one topic I do want to talk about, actually, on that topic too, actually, for the Stage 4 video, the National Finals retrospective, when I do make it, which I promise I'll do, because I want to finish that series, the stage 3 video has already been recorded, as I've said previously, and well, yes, I haven't really had much time to edit it in full. It definitely is something on my list, and I want to try to get out before the end of the year. My apologies on these being once a year things. That was definitely not the point I was conceiving that series, but it just ended up being that way because of how much time it takes to edit those videos. Those videos and how long they are. But, for the Stage 4 video, it would be more likely that I would probably spend more time talking about Sasuke and how they advanced Stage 4 and how ANW could have done it versus how they did because they didn't.
Yeah, definitely, but I think I'm excited to see that video of yours. I
am excited to make it. We'll see when it comes out. But anyway, moving on to Stage 4, the first runner on that tower was
Kai Beckstrand, and yeah, he climbed it.
Is that all you got?
That's all I got for you.
Wow.
I mean, it is impressive. Like, Kai has had a long career. Kai is he's competed on Ninja Junior twice, and he won it once, and almost won it again in Season 2. Almost won it again in Season 2. So, there's that. And he did really well in Season 13, and obviously in 15 he had a support. In 15 he went out early. Honestly, I think this is probably the guy who had the least writing on this, and probably was the least special in general, but it is a storied career enough, but it doesn't really feel like much in the grand scheme of things.
Yeah, and Kai obviously will never be able to get you again, even after this, because obviously no Vegas, as we keep on saying. But it was cool to see him try. He did a really good job, actually. He's the heaviest person to ever take on Stage 4. So the fact that he got so close was cool. He ended up getting about 65 feet up. So, yeah, it was a pretty decent one for him. There's not really much to say about it, but it was just pretty decent.
Yeah. After that, we had NASA's one, and yes, I think his second segment here was pretty unbearable, even if it was short. I was kind of surprised at the improvement here.
Yeah, NASA's one from last year. I haven't watched it since then, so bear with me on this one. But if I remember correctly, he really didn't have much of a technique on the rope. He really wasn't sure. He was kind of just flipping around a little bit.
That is kind of what it felt like, admittedly enough. But here, it felt like he had a solid technique, and he got really, really close. Closer than last year, I'm pretty sure. He felt like it was on his shoulders. You can kind of tell, but he was determinedly progressing, even at the end there. And he was just I'll get there. And then when the clock struck, he was oh, come on, I was right there. You can kind of feel that in his face and the way he reacted to it.
Yeah, he also kind of just hung there for a bit too as well. So he didn't want to make the climb after that.
Yeah, it's kind of like Josh Levin or something like that, where he kind of just wanted to win more than anything else.
Yeah, I guess what are we bringing Josh Levin up as a comparison now?
Well, I don't know why I brought up Josh Levin as a comparison. He's so random.
But I get what you're saying though. But I think he was so determined to win and thought he could so badly that he was just kind of just trying to climb until he got to the top. It's kind of the way you gotta take it, It's a Stage 4 climb is a big endurance one, so yeah, it's kind of the way you do have to take it with that.
Yeah. Moving on after that, we had Vance Walker's run, and I'm trying to determine, should we talk about this now or should we talk about it later, because there were two more ones afterwards.
If you want my opinion, because we already been at the Wolves once, I say we do it again, talk about Noah's one next, because, obviously Caleb and, Vance, they were the two finishers here. We can talk about them as they come.
Yeah, so let's start with Noah's one first. Noah Munia, I think this kid is so tragic. He came so close both times attempting Stage 4, and came in third place both times as well. And the fact that he won't get another shot at it, even though he looked to just dominate every single course he attempted, not only this year, but last year as well. Honestly, I think he's, probably one of the biggest tragedies of this entire Vegas system. Because, again, total rookie, never done this before, 2 straight seasons of getting to Stage 4 and almost winning it all. And he will never get a chance to really build on that. Kind of a start to his career.
Yeah, like in that way.
Yeah, in the way like you'd expect for Ninja. Like I was like, he'll definitely still compete. I will definitely say he's definitely a contender to win it all during season 17. With the whole racing thing, because he is a fast ninja. Like, he had the fastest time on stage 1, and he's known for going fast. So I can't say he couldn't do it, but I can't say he can go fast. But in the terms of Mount Majoriyama, he'll never get no shot at it, and that kind of stings just because I know how well he did here.
Yeah, even if he was like a rookie, like Noah is someone who just kind of deserves that shot because of how well he did here. But yeah, still like an amazing like season though.
Oh fuck yeah! Like all 3 of those, Kai, NASA, Noah. We may not talk about them all too much, but all 3 of them. The fact that they had such good seasons this year. Like they hit 5 buzzers. That's a real accomplishment, especially for NASA and Noah, who did it 2 years in a row within days of each other in terms of filming. Like no one's ever done that. Like. No one had ever done that aside from Caden. Like, that is a real accomplishment. Do that back to back, especially as the first 2 seasons on the show. It is a really big accomplishment. There wasn't really much to say about it, but it is a really good accomplishment for the both of them. And honestly, I hope that both of them have really good ninja careers after this. Even if, I'll be honest here, I don't think the show's gonna be around for all that much longer after this.
Yeah, but let's go into it. The next one, obviously to note, Noah ended up ending the episode. He was the last one shown. But right before his one, we had Caleb Bergstrom. Jesus Christ, this was probably the most unexpected thing we saw this episode. Oh, and in terms of just, like, surprise.
Yeah. Caleb was someone who we never saw the possibility of winning. Like, yeah, he was certainly a pretty good ninja, and obviously he had the skills to show it right before season 15. Didn't really have the best track record in the world, but he was always someone that, definitely had potential and definitely was able to exert that past his one in Vegas that I don't even think was shown. So, there was a lot riding on it, and him clearing getting all the way to Vegas in season 15 and getting all the way to stage 4, like, that was a genuine shock. Because Cable was never someone I expected that we did to get to stage 4. And he did super well. He chopped off a full 10 seconds off his time. I think it was like 8 seconds or so?
I think just under 8.
Around there, off his time from last season. And achieved a true condensata. And 6 buzzers at that. Like, even if he didn't beat Vance, that's impressive given what happened just 3 days ago as of filming.
Yeah, it was the last thing I was expecting. Caleb was not someone I was expecting to clear the rope. Like, I was expecting, out of the group, I thought, like, Vance and Noah were going to be the 2 people to clear the rope. And Vance would obviously be faster than Noah. But, the fact that Caleb was able to triumph, and even if he was slower than Vance, like, it's impressive. Like, he achieved condensata. That is awesome. I am very happy for Caleb. Even if he didn't win the money, he fucking deserves it after a series of seasons like that.
Yeah, and then we got Vance Walker, back-to-back champion. And it's actually, I think it's really interesting to talk about here. And this one, even this one was faster than Gil's from last season, but it was pretty close.
Yeah, so Vance, last season he finished with 3 seconds left on the clock. This time he finished with 2:40, or 40, and he was the first to clear the course in terms of timing wise. But yeah, he was the grand winner, the grand champion, double total victory, back-to-back wins. What is there more to say about Vance Walker?
Can they shut up about him having cerebral palsy?
Oh yeah, they say that like at least 50 times in this episode. Shut up.
Yeah, but on a serious talk though, what a career for Vance. What a year for him. Getting a total victory twice, which has probably been like his childhood dream for like at least a decade or something like that. Something along those lines.
however long he's seen the show, that has most likely been his dream. And even he said it back in season 15, about to make it a reality. And now, twice. Like, that is something to go crazy about. And something that is worth the damn. Like, even if the one wasn't all that special from a viewing standpoint, getting to the top of Midoriyama twice, something that only a couple of ninjas have ever done, especially twice, which has never been done by an American, and has only been done by 2 other people in the history of Ninja Warrior, Yuji Ushihara and Yusuke Morimoto. Like, it's kind of unforeseen, I guess.
Oh yeah, for sure. Like, it's double sort of victory. Like it feels like something. I think we talked about this during stage 1. A double total victory would be a decent end to this season. And that's what happened. Like, even if it's the most predictable thing in the world, sometimes, who the fuck cares? I mean, honestly, considering the kind of circumstances this season was running on, this is probably the best finish it probably could have hoped for. Because, stage 4 with a total victory and a double total victory at that. Like, it is kind of crazy. And plus, like, it mirrors the end that Sasuke was going.
I was hoping I wouldn't have to deal with this shit.
And plus, it mirrors the end that Sasuke was going to have. During Sasuke 27, Yuji got his second total victory, and it was going to be the last Sasuke tournament. And it's really the only time they've rigged it so that way they would be a winner in Sasuke's history. So, yeah, both ANW and Sasuke, technically speaking, could have ended on the same note.
Yeah, and honestly, to me, too. I feel like if Sasuke did end, ANW would definitely not have lasted all that much. Definitely would not have lasted much longer than it, because its popularity internationally is probably the main reason why Sasuke did keep going. So even if that didn't bring Sasuke back, I don't think it would have brought back I don't think it would have kept ANW going for all that much longer. Yeah, I guess on that tangent, it's like difficult to calibrate like how long it would have went for if that were the case. Yeah, you know, I think that might be an interesting what if video for me to think about.
So a discussion video, new topic, yo.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't think I'll make it, but it's a good idea, I think, so maybe look for it. I don't know. But, wow. I guess all I can say is, do you guys have any final thoughts on this season, as a whole, before we close out here?
You know, honestly, I think it was a really good climax, a really good closure. I think especially Vegas. Like, this entire season, a really amazing closure. Like, there was so much writing on this season. And the fact that even more pressure was put on it because it's the final season, we'll see Mount Midoriyama in a revamped state at all. And it hit its stride. It hit it home. Like, I don't think this is the best Vegas ever been, obviously. Like, there have been much better Vegases than this. But in terms of the editing, in terms of trying to be some sort of climax to the show's legacy, and Mount Midoriyama's legacy here in America, it did an amazing job. And, like, you gotta commend it for that. Like, this season, you have to commend it for how well of a job they did. It did. The job they did on the editing side for these last 2 episodes, and especially here in the finale. Like, it is so much better than we've had in terms of finale. The last 2 seasons were pretty lackluster, I feel. And Z13 was pretty good. This was pretty good as well. Like, one of the best episodes of ANW I've ever seen. Amazing finale, too. A really long legacy of the show.
Yeah, definitely. I think my biggest pet peeve about this season is something that we just never got the chance to mention. Is just the fact that, like, they kept on saying that NASA, NOAA, and NOAA had never failed a course when they had failed stage 4. Oh yeah, I've been wanting to win them forever, but, like, it just never came up in conversation. But yeah, it is a pet peeve of mine. You are absolutely right. That is something really annoying because falling counts on stage 4 too. Like, it really does.
Yeah. But I guess just to mention it now, right?
Yeah, I wanted to just get my grievances out because, like, just get the grievances out because that really does piss me off. But, yeah. Ladies and gentlemen, that is the finale of ANW 16. The final showing for Mount Midoriyama. And most likely, the final time where we're going to talk about the most recent seasons of ANW in this kind of context. Wow. We're here, everyone.
Yeah. It's kind of crazy to think, but, like, we all knew this was coming. How do we even close this?
Well, I think, well, let's just talk about the future for a bit. The next stop on our things to do is the Sasuke World Cup, which, as of now, we haven't watched yet. We are planning to meet up for it, to watch it in person with each other. But on that note, though, it will probably not be all that far away from when this podcast comes out.
Yeah, as of recording, Stage 2's episode hasn't even been able to release yet. Even though we recorded a little bit ago at this point. So it will be a bit from when we're recording this. But in terms of, like, it actually releasing, it may not be all that far off, honestly. Like, expect it within the next 3 to 4 weeks, at least. 3 to 4 weeks, at least. And, like, probably the next 6 weeks at most.
Yeah, and from there, I think the next topic is probably will come out in terms of the podcast. Will probably come in January for the Stage 5 Ninja Wars. And I know you guys like we have to wait that long. I'm like, you're kind of gonna have to. Like, after we cover the World Cup, I would definitely take away from the podcast. I am focusing on going to college and all the extra stuff that comes with becoming an adult. So is John, and of course there's going in our first semester. So a lot of us are moving on, so it's still very difficult to produce videos, so you guys just find me the time to do so because they are a huge commitment to edit together. I still do want to continue this channel, though. There's still a lot of kinds of videos I want to make. I want to finish the Las Vegas retrospective. There's a couple new series ideas I've thought of. And overall, I think from here on out, the big thing I'll be making is solo discussion videos and maybe a few montages here and then. I honestly do think that I'll be making a few montages for the end of this season. Like, I recently made one for Najee Richardson, and that has probably come out by the time you guys are seeing this. And then I want to make one for Vance. I want to make one for Joe Mawosky. Probably 2 of them for him because not only want to make an every season's buzzer to update his record, but also as well, I'd love to make a tribute video for him because of his long legacy on the show. And I want to make one for Gil, maybe RJ. Like, I'll think about it. And I can't promise all those will come to be. The only one I can promise is the Najee one because it's the only one I've actually made and finished. But keep an eye out for those because I do want to make them.
Alright, well, you guys see it. Next up, Sasuke World Cup, which I'm excited to cover here on the podcast, people.
Yeah, we haven't talked about Sasuke in a really long time. Like, we covered Sasuke 41, technically speaking. But we never got the chance to fully stick it in because it never actually came out and it got deleted. This time around, we're gonna take extra care. Hopefully, when we record it, it doesn't just get deleted like the last 2 times. Last couple of times, we're gonna actually cover it, and obviously we'll cover Sasuke 42 as well because that's also a really important thing to us. And as long as something comes up, we do plan to watch that as well. And then the Stage 5 Ninja Awards. I don't know what's gonna come up after the Stage 5 Ninja Awards. If we only were to meet up after those are covered, obviously I think the Team Ninja videos are right to debate. Because we aren't going to be covering ANW 17, they're definitely on the table in terms of things we might end up doing in the future. Kind of comes down to time and stuff, and I'll keep you guys in the know on that. But I think that's what you guys have to look forward to. Coverage on the Sasuke World Cup. The next episode of the National Finals retrospective on Stage 3, which will hopefully come out by the end of the year. And then the Stage 5 Ninja Awards for Season 16 to close it out. And a couple of montages.
Alright, dude. It's done. It's done. You see you guys next time for those.
Yeah, by and large, it's amazing that we finally covered the finale.
Yeah, I've been anticipating it for a while, so I'm really glad we finally did it.
Yeah, so we're gonna see you guys next time for the Sasuke World Cup. Peace.